AmityCast. My name is Ellis.
And mine is Matthew.
That's true. Then bear with me this week. I'm not feeling the best. I'm a little under the weather, so it's probably going to be terrible, but I already sound bad on my end anyway, so it's fine.
Under the weather? I hardly even know it.
That didn't make any sense, but this week we'll be discussing the new, even though it's not like super new, hit horror film from the hit director James Wan. You know it, I know it, Aquaman.
Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom.
I'm excited.
Are you?
Nope, I'm just kidding though, because we're talking about Malignant.
Yeah, this movie's supposed to come out like last year, I think, and then like it didn't, and like now too.
Yeah, James Wan was saying he's got all these blockbusters that he's doing now, or like these like bigger films outside of his roots. He wanted to like return to his roots for a film, do like a classic horror film, James Wan style. He wanted to do something like original, something cool. So I saw the final product. Matthew thought?
It like accomplished very little.
Yeah, I have to agree. Honestly, cut and dry, I don't think Malignant's very good. I really don't think it succeeds that much. Kind of like what you just said. It's kind of depressing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't seen his other horror works besides Insidious, and he made Saw, the original, and the first like few Conjurings, and like I can like even without seeing those movies, I can tell this is probably like the worst of his like original horror films he's made, like easily.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's visually.
It looks down there if you want.
It looks visually good, and like it has good choreography, and like the two like really long like extended fight sequences it has at the end for some reason, and like the acting is like some of it's fine, most of it's pretty garbage. The main villain, like in the trailers, the main villain actually like the trailer looked really good, like genuinely, and the main trailer, it got me like kind of excited to see it. It looked like this really like I don't know how to describe it. It looked like this very like to the point, grounded and like aggressive like horror film, and like this movie was like pretty much none of that.
Yeah, the marketability kind of like skewed it a lot. I think when I first saw the trailer, I thought it looked like really cool, and like I guess one problem I can't give it is that it is kind of original, and the concept does try to carry it for a while. But like it really doesn't succeed, especially when you go through the acts and like you hit like the twist at the end. It's all kind of like
there was like the whole story was like it was like interesting. I guess it was engaging at the very least, and the main girl herself, I mean the actress was fine. It's just the character wasn't engaging at all, and she like barely talked the whole time, and I didn't care. And they just like set up a bunch of stuff, and it's just kind of like paid off right at the end, and then the movie just kind of ends. It just kind of ends. There's no like payoff. It's like she's for sure going to jail the rest of her life, and she's just like, well, like you're my sister.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid. I couldn't get invested at all. Like throughout the entire film, it was like troubling for me to like try to like follow along with what was really happening. I didn't find it very engaging myself, and I don't think any of the performances were very good. Even the lead role, she had like a few moments, but most of the time she was kind of flat, and it was just kind of infuriating watching through it.
Yeah, I remember.
My favorite thing about it, probably like this, it has some really good set pieces, and it has some good cinematography to go along with it. I think James Wan's direction is like very like distinct, and like you can see it there. But like that's probably like the only like thing I actually enjoyed about the film.
Yeah, I mean like with the certain like camera. And like filmmaking techniques used, and the CGI even like there was like cool like effects, like when like it was a cool like it's like a story beat to have her like viewed like these like murders before they happened, and like this weird connection with the killer, which was like cool, and like when they like transitioned into that kind of like world, it was very cool. It reminded like of me like how it was in Insidious, and it felt like a lot more like well like executed and like better effects, and it does get me like excited for the next Aquaman, because like he'll definitely bring a lot of that into that movie. So if anything, just makes me like a bit more excited for Aquaman than anything else. Like, I'm not excited for Malignant 2. I'm really not.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a sequel because, like, any originality that was there just kind of faltered. I guess it was decently original in some ways, but then outside of that, it clearly couldn't decide what it actually wanted to be, because it kind of felt like a little bit like a slasher sometimes. It was mostly kind of like a ghost story.
Yeah, that's what it was getting praised for a lot. Like, it was like a mix of genres, and like it flipped itself on its head. And it's like, I guess it did, but it more just couldn't decide what it wanted to be. And in the end, it just became a slasher movie.
It felt more jumbled, and like it just didn't really have an identity. That it tried to be too many things at one time, and it wasn't like written well enough for that to work.
Yeah, like I get what he was trying to do, and like honestly, the killer in the trailers like was really like interesting, and like I really was like excited to see. And what they did with like, I mean, like full spoilers, obviously. I mean, if you're watching a podcast, spoilers, and then just being like a conjoined twin that like takes over her body, and like they have this really weird effect where like her face like flips to the other side, and it just looks bad. I get the idea, it just looks bad, and like how like the killer moves because like the joints get like inverted or whatever. It looks bad. It looks weird, especially in fight scenes. I don't like it.
Yeah, it was just kind of stupid. Like those fight scenes at the end were just like so weird, and those cop characters were so bad. I hated their characters. They added nothing like at all.
Yeah, the cops, they had like a weird romance, which was like okay, but they did nothing with it. It didn't end anything. All the cops lived, like the main ones. And like literally like the guy cop, like he sees like everything going on, and like he knows exactly what's happening, but he's like, no, let's arrest her, she's the killer.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is that they kind of ignite a lot of fires throughout the film, a lot of different storylines and like threads that they might like expand upon. But like through that, they don't actually like establish anything like properly, and they don't actually conclude anything like at all.
Yeah, and it's just like I know like it was getting some praise for being like basically just like a campy 90s movie, and it's like I guess it is, but like it's still like it doesn't feel like a 90s movie. It tries to be serious, and it just doesn't work. I'm not gonna praise a movie for being campy if it doesn't work. Like I don't care if that was the intent. I want it to be good.
Right. It didn't really feel natural anything to me. None of the performances were natural. The relationship between like the protagonist and her sister was like supposed to be like a big deal or something. I don't know.
It was barely there. It was barely there. Like really.
Yeah.
And then the mom character. There was a whole storyline with like the two moms, and like they both, which is kind of like were there. And then they never even like tell us what happened to the dad, which was like a question I had because I kept bringing up her parents, but then like they never even like said what happened to her dad. And then it's just kind of like her mom's just kind of there at the end. She's like, "Please forgive me," and it's just like, okay, you still caused like all of this. You still caused like all of this.
Right. They kind of just like wrote all that out, and it just like, and also really cluttered. It didn't feel like. What's weird is that it felt like really dense and jam packed, but at the same time, I couldn't believe it was almost 2 hours. It felt really dragging to me.
Yeah, and that can we not mention how dumb that cop was? Like when like he was following the killer, and like he was just following him like throughout the whole sewer, like his whole lair, like everywhere, and then he didn't die. And I was like, this cop is the most dumbest like idiot I've ever seen. Like in the theater, I was like audibly like saying, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, there was just so much ridiculous stuff that didn't really like. It didn't come to actual fruition the way that you would hope in like a weird horror movie. It just all felt kind of just dumb.
Yeah, I'm like I don't. Maybe it's not James Wan's fault. I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed this, so this is like entirely his like storyline. But I don't know how like well the writing was in like the first Conjuring or whatever, but I know like for Saw and like Insidious, he had like another co-writer that was like it was Lee Winnell, I believe. And like I feel like if he kind of needed, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he can write as well on his own.
Yeah, James Wan doesn't really flourish solo as a writer, from what I've seen.
And I think Lee Winnell definitely does, because I know like the first Saw is like incredible as like for what it is, and like the first Insidious is like pretty good for like a supernatural movie, and like Lee Winnell also made like The Invisible Man and like Upgrade, and I know those movies are both like very highly praised. So
yeah,
I think he's much better as a director than he is probably a writer.
Yeah, when it comes to writing, he's much better in collaborative ways. As a director, he has a nice visual direction, and that comes through in *Malignant* and pretty much every movie that he makes. That's like my favorite thing about Wan movies. But with this one, it's definitely not enough to make up for like everything that I don't like about it, because it has so many issues.
Yeah, and like this is no diss on James Wan. He's made some pretty great maybe not great, but like very good films. Like how he like would make like something like Saw or Insidious, and then make something like Furious 7 or Aquaman, and like how like even Furious 7 is like probably one of the best Fast and Furious movies, and he's just like this indie horror director. It was like very cool, and like he made Aquaman like a somewhat respectable character that wasn't like a big joke. And then like he could even make sequels to his movies like Conjuring 2 and like Insidious 2, and like they could still be like around the same around the same quality as the original, which is usually pretty hard to do. This movie just didn't really work. It didn't work for me. It was fine at the very least. At the very most, it was fine. I never see myself watching this again. I didn't particularly enjoy the twists in like the storyline. It had really good promise, especially the opening scene was very well done. But then like it was just kind of like this dumb opening credits scene, and then this movie just kept like going down with each scene. And then the twist happened, and I was like, okay, this like makes sense in the story, and it was set up, and like I can tell that like he planned this out meticulously as like a script. But like I don't know how this idea came about. I don't know why it had to be made. I don't know why this movie exists. It's whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a reason to. I definitely agree with that. The opening scene gave it a lot of promise, I think. I think everything after that just got progressively worse. The ending was really stupid. There's a lot of like really weird like nitpicks that I have like at the end or whatever when she like channels herself and goes in there and she's just like, oh, you can't control my body anymore.
Like
and
there's
then,
no
like,
there's no reason. There's no way that she like learns to like actually stop him. She's just like randomly like, okay, I'm stopping you.
No, that makes no sense. And then it's like, oh, the sister didn't actually get shot. It's like, why go through with that about a character I don't care about? I don't care about any of the characters, and kill her off. And then just like a couple of seconds later, be like, oh, that didn't actually happen. Like I don't know what that was. Like that didn't actually happen. And then like she's like, oh, it's me. And she's like, oh,
yeah, and then
it's like a really heavy thing off of her sister. And then they're just like, oh yeah, we're fine now. You know, I'm gonna go to prison for this month. It's like, well, okay, she's like a mortal person still. Like, but how did she do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, pretty much the best like sequence in the film. I feel like the murders were pretty well executed. I feel like the actual like kills were good. They weren't bad or anything. Not worth sitting through the whole film for. I didn't like the stupid like little knife he had that was like a metal. It looked dumb. I hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't cool. It looked like a piece of plastic.
Yeah. No, it's pretty stupid. I wasn't a big fan of that.
They were like making they were making it look like what? No, they were
making it look like
they were making the dumb little fucking like metal. They literally like took a scene that like was like directly from like Nightmare on Elm Street, and like they were trying to make it look like this like iconic horror weapon, and it's literally like a fucking participation trophy. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, that was really stupid. The first scene, like the protagonist gets back to her house and like her husband like watching the thing on TV, and then she's like, I'm in a lot of pain. He's like, well, there's so much pain, just don't work. And she's like, well, we gotta make money or whatever. And then like they get in like an argument, and then like he just throws her into the wall, and he's like, I'm sorry, let me go get you ice. It's like I didn't feel like any actual emotional weight from that. Like I think it was supposed to.
It was dumb because it didn't make any sense. Like I get like he's like an asshole or whatever, but like he's like and they give a reason for why the babies are dying, and it's like he just like blames her for being infertile, and it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why would you get mad at somebody for having problems having a kid? And like she's like literally supporting you. Like this doesn't make sense. I get you're like an asshole, but like even like an abuser, I can't like imagine this making sense.
Right, that didn't make any like realistic sense to me. I mean, I'm sure like maybe people could be like specifically that, but it's just like a lot of the specifics of that character just seems so stupid. Even if it's like a character that's like messed up from like having like kids like die or whatever, like it's like, well, this doesn't.
Also, there's no thing with this character. He just dies, and it's just like there's no like payoff. There's no like setup.
Yeah,
he just dies. He's just an asshole that dies. There's no story reason besides him slamming her head like causes the whole movie to happen.
Right, which is super weird.
And like,
they really were. It sounded like every time her head touched somebody, there was just a lot of blood. It was like, okay, it's important that you hit her head. Okay, guys, by the way, she hit her head.
That also made the shit on me. Like, why don't you go to the hospital and get your fucking head checked out? Like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing?
That's so stupid. I mean,
Also,
I enjoyed the scene.
Another nitpick is that she kept going back to her house. Like, if my husband just died, I wouldn't go back to my house like the day of and like just do laundry. Like, what?
Yeah, that was like she just like like these events like kept happening, and I was like, why is she just acting like everything's normal? Like, why is her life just continuing? Like, there would be like a lot of other things going on right now.
Also, like, and when they revealed that like the girl was up in the attic, like the biological mom, it's like, you tell me she didn't like hear like her screaming like days on end in her attic? Like what? There's like actual murders going on here. Like what? What?
Yeah, there's a lot of nitpicks throughout it. I mean, I really like the scene after, like when the husband character, like when he got killed, like that scene was like pretty eerie. It did a good job with the scares.
Yeah,
all the lights and stuff like that.
All the kills are really well done. It's just like the movie around it was just not. It was like barely passable at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like after that moment, there weren't any actual scares. It didn't really feel like a true horror movie. Like a lot of just pretty much everything throughout it, just felt like a failure to me. I don't know. Like I said, they had good set pieces, like good visual direction. It clearly had a distinct style and delivered on that. But like,
and like the two
carried so far, especially when like the marketing made it seem so different, and then like the actual like product was nothing like it, and it was so much worse than like what it was expected to be.
Yeah,
like, it had a lot more potential than what they were showing off. But
I generally don't see what like the critics are saying that like is so like favorable about this movie, because like last I looked, I had like 70% or something, and like every single like review I saw about it was like, this is like genuinely like a different type of horror movie. Like it's not at all. It's not.
Yeah, it's not like a 50. It's not like a 50 Metascore. I think it's a little too high. But like I was just like reading some of the reviews on Metacritic for it, and like the top ones are like, oh, it has a really good concept or whatever. And like the lower ones are like, yeah, it has a cool concept, I guess, but like the movie's really bad.
I don't think it's cool. I don't like the whole like twin thing. It doesn't make sense like logistically, like in this universe. Like having a conjoined twin doesn't mean like you can take control of your whole body and like get super strength and like murder people and like speak like its own English. And it's just like that's not how it works. If you cut off the twin's dead. Why is it like still like a part of her and like coming out of like her head and like breaking through like her skull? That like doesn't make sense. So why does she have superpowers too now? Like what is it, like setting up a universe? Like what does this mean at all?
Yeah, and like I said, like the base form of the concept is really interesting, but then like trying to spin on it, it's just no. Like I don't want this.
That's the big thing with like horror movies, is that like these slasher or like supernatural like movies are cool, but like if you don't have like a good like motivation or explanation, it ruins the movie. Because like this being like a conjoined twin, it's just like it's dumb. I don't like it. It makes it, and like how he goes out in the end, he literally just gets locked in an imaginary cage, and it's like, okay, this is not scary at all, like literally not at all. He just wears this dumb leather coat and kills people, and like sure, like the jail like murder scene was cool, and like the police shootout was cool, except how terrible everybody's aim was, and it made no sense. And then it was very well choreographed, and like it wasn't scary at all. It was just like an action scene. And like we're gonna talk about a movie later that like definitely looks like it's gonna have like this like constant like kills like in the film, but like it's gonna remain like scary or suspenseful, and like this movie doesn't do that at all.
Actually, terror, yeah.
That's the thing. It's like good that like a character like say Michael Myers doesn't have like an exact motivation. Like once you add motivation to that, and like it's not like good, it just like it ruins the film. It doesn't work.
Right. I mean, unless like you could like establish it in a way that makes sense and like it actually like connects things together. Like it just doesn't matter. It just like logically like a lot of the decisions, like it was really poorly paced, I think, and the structure I think was like really weird. Like the plot was just like moving along, and I couldn't like really like follow it the way that it was supposed to. I don't think like that was intended. I don't think it was self-aware. I just think like it just like wasn't well structured at all. And the character writing was super bad. There was like no good story development, and overall, it was like this is just all like flat. It's kind of boring. It failed in pretty much every way. I mean, yeah, it has those few positives I brought up, but like outside of that, and like you were saying, like in Michael Myers movies and Halloween films, like the whole like thing with the motivation, like the character not having a motivation is what kind of makes them scary, because like you don't actually understand, and what you don't understand is what's the most terrifying. At least that's what it's trying to explore. And like the good ones in that franchise succeed in that.
And like it's not saying like you can't give motivation to a killer, because I would say even like Freddy Krueger, I feel like his motivation, which was presented from the beginning, was very good, and it works for me a lot. And even
and it's actually well integrated into the story, and they do a good job with that.
And Jason's the whole thing. I don't really care for his motivation. I don't really care for him as a slasher, but He's iconic, sure, but he's whatever. But and then like even characters like say Chucky, like the motivation works, and I can enjoy it in like a cheesy, scary sort of way. It just doesn't even work at that level.
Right, and it follows through for the most part, and it stays pretty consistent. And
Yeah.
Malignant is just kind of like, it was just hard to follow, and it wasn't established well from the beginning, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess like in James Wan fashion, if you ever made a sequel to this, maybe it'd be better. I don't know. I'm not really excited for it, and I hope it never really happens, unless he somehow can like redeem the story for me, which I don't know if he can.
Yeah, I don't see any way, because of how this one went, I don't see any way a sequel could be.
I also don't think it's doing too well because like I went to the movie theater and it was literally empty. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell right now if movies are doing good or not. This also released this on HBO Max like the first day, so I bet a lot of it's being watched on HBO Max because it doesn't feel like a movie you need to go out and see really, unless you can like.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be on HBO Max. So if you try an experimental film like this, you go out on a limb, but you also like allowed to go on a streaming service. Like, there's a good chance that anyone who's going to go see it, they'll just watch it on their streaming service, and it's going to kind of like I don't know like how that works financially, obviously, but it doesn't seem like a good like tactic. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean like for some reason like fucking Peacock's getting like a big temple horror film the same day, and like Matrix 4 is gonna go to HBO Max the same day, and it's just like you're losing money. You're gonna lose money. I don't know why you're doing this.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
I think it's gonna be over pretty much after this year. At least I hope so, because I could see with like Godzilla vs Kong and like the first few movies, like yeah, the same day streaming is like a good test. But like once like you saw the movies doing well, I don't know why it's still, because like we've had like Godzilla vs Kong did great, F9 did great, Black Widow and Shang-Chi did great, and it's just like I think it's just like it's time to go back to the theaters, just release everything in theaters. I don't know why you need like Halloween to be released on streaming. It doesn't make sense. But it definitely hurt. I think it definitely hurt this movie like financially. So I don't think we'll ever see a continuation of the story, and that's fine. This movie's very bland.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt more like an experiment, like a project, which can succeed a lot. Like even like indie horror movies, like this wasn't necessarily indie, but like experimental horror films can work out, and they do a lot of the time, but they also fail a lot of the time. And this one was just too pandering, too poorly structured, too poorly written, and overall, I just don't think it really like delivered on what it was supposed to. So overall,
and I don't.
Was not a fan.
Yeah, I don't care if like this was like intended to be like cheesy '90s like monster slasher movie. It's like it didn't work. You can't justify a poor script by saying it was like intended to be that. This film it's whatever. It doesn't work. I don't really recommend it. I mean, if you want to stream it or like you want to go on a date night, maybe you might find some enjoyment in it. But honestly, I'd recommend like just waiting a few weeks and go see Kills. Or I would say Venom 2, but that movie's probably gonna be worse. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, you can always just be excited for Venom with the Carnage.
Yeah, that movie's gonna blow terribly. I don't know why everybody's so hyped for it. At most, it's gonna be like a movie I can watch like with some friends and like laugh at how terrible it is, which is like not when I want to go to see Venom and Carnage in movie 4s.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna have an episode on that, so we can expand upon it more. But
yeah,
I'm a big fan of like Carnage, the character. I'm really not excited for this film. Like, why is Woody Harrelson playing Carnage? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess we'll just have to see. But like, it has no potential. Like, it's under 30 minutes. I guess it's pushing limits of being rated R. So just make it an R-rated film because like the character of Venom is R-rated. Just like do it. Like, it makes no sense. And the first Venom was such a failure. It was so bad. Like, that movie was absolutely awful. I don't know why people praised it. Like critically, it didn't do very well. But like a lot of casual like fans, like casual film fans, like really loved it for some reason. And like, it was so bad.
I mean, yeah, we'll discuss both the Venom movies probably soon. We could even just talk about Venom next week and just like rip that movie to shreds. I don't care. But
I'm fine with that. I'll be feeling better next week. This week is kind of.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie's like a 3 out of 10 at best. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I dislike it, and I kind of just don't like thinking about it.
Yeah, initially I had a 3 out of 10. Maybe getting to like. Maybe going down to a 2. It's like it's teetering on there because like a 2 out of 10 is like is pretty much a complete failure. It's just like has a few things going for it. That's kind of how I view this movie. But like I don't know, there's a few things that kind of elevate it like a tiny bit up to a 3. It's like teetering on there. I'm not sure exactly, but
I I don't know why this movie was made. I get he wanted to like make a horror movie again before he went and made another superhero movie, and also he had a weird quote where he said that like after Aquaman 2 he's not gonna do Aquaman 3. He's not gonna make a trilogy because I guess his like motto for franchises is that after he does 2 movies he's done in that franchise. It's just kind of like it's a weird philosophy when like trilogies are commonly accepted as like, you know, a complete story, but that's just me. But
yeah, I heard about that, and it doesn't really make any sense to me because I don't see why you wouldn't just make a third one if you make a second. Like, if you have the grounds for it, like, I don't get it.
well, yeah, like The Conjuring 3 I heard was like significantly like worse than the first 2. And it's like, why didn't he just make that instead of this and then go do Aquaman 2 and like make a solid trilogy of horror movies and then leave that at that? Like, I don't know why this was the movie that he had to make.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And it also doesn't make sense because he made the first Saw, but he didn't make Saw 2. So it's just like, I don't really get where this philosophy's going, but that's just me.
Yeah, he's kind of a weird guy. I don't know. I mean, I respect him as a director,
but like in all honesty,
I mean, overall,
he made like one of the best Fast and Furious movies, and like I can thank him for that because like that one's like genuinely enjoyable. So
yeah, I agree with you on that one.
as like as much as those movies can be, but like yeah, at least it isn't like F9.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have James Bond come back to like do a Fast and Furious movie, to be honest.
He should just do the 10 and 11 2. And
I think you should do 10 and like halfway through filming be like, hey, this is terrible, and just cancel.
yeah.
Honestly, have James Wan do a Han movie. Like what?
That's true.
Like what?
I mean,
Like
James Gunn is the most DC of Marvel, so like, hey.
you can call it Han and Shaw. But yeah, I think that's about it for this movie. I don't recommend it. Probably a 2.5. I'll give it a 2.5. I'm being generous by giving it 2.5. Like really.
Overall, I consider it a failure. I do not recommend it.
I would say that the best things about it, or some of the kills, the setup is engaging.
Yeah, very good set pieces.
It's definitely
direction.
It's definitely, you know, you can tell there was like a direct vision here, and like there's plot holes, but like you can tell the general story, and that's always good to have some. It's good to have it. It's good that it's cohesive, and you know, if he's really happy he made this movie, I'm happy for him. But genuinely, it's genuinely like a D tier, almost F tier movie, and I don't really like it.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. Malignant overall, not a very fun viewing.
I honestly,
current rookie season.
When before like I saw both Candyman and this, I honestly thought I would like Candyman less than this, but I like Candyman infinitely more than this.
Yeah, the 2021 Candyman was much better. It wasn't amazing. I don't remember what we said about it when we covered it, but like it still was like at least decent, and it like mostly delivered. And like other horror movies that have come out this year, I mean, like even I prefer Spiral. I know like a big part of that's probably biased for me, so they said it was a Saw franchise, and I enjoyed Spiral, but like
Spiral,
I do think it was probably better than Malignant.
Spiral's genuinely a movie I'd like rewatch again and not like hate it. So
I feel the same way. I'm definitely not going to be comping a Steelbook of Malignant anytime soon.
Yeah, there probably will be one though. It might be cool because it's like this red theme, which I did like the posters and stuff, but like, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool, but the movie doesn't make up for it at all. It's terrible.
But do you want to move on to something we're actually like excited about?
I mean, if you really want to.
Do you not?
Okay, so the final Halloween Kills trailer drops, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it was very good. I was kind of nervous because I feel like they would spoil a lot. I don't think they did really. I've thought that they've been showing a lot of kills like in the trailer, but to be honest, like with how like they're talking about the movie and like the film title itself, I feel like there's just gonna be a lot in this movie. Like I think even one of the filmmakers said like it tops 100 kills in the film, which I don't know if that's gonna work, but I'm like genuinely like hyped to see that.
Yeah.
Like I know it's like it's not the essence of the Michael Myers character to just be like an unstoppable just slasher movie. It's like much more suspense and like build up, and like a lot more like subtle film. But just like finally seeing a movie where we can just see Michael Myers like in a timeline where I actually enjoy, just go on a rampage. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it no matter what.
Yes, I'm very excited for it. The trailer looks promising. Again, just like every trailer they've done that I've seen. I think what we're looking at with this is going to be awesome. Looks like it's going to be more of a premiere slasher, and what I'm expecting is probably ends to be a lot more of an emotional, somber horror film. That's what I'm expecting. But we're just going to have to see. I am very excited for it. I think it's going to be absolutely enthralling from what it appears to be. It could end up being disappointing, but as of now, I don't see how it's going to. Everything I've seen so far has been positive.
There's only one.
I like the aspect.
There's only one thing that I'm a little worried about, and it's just based on how they execute it, and that is, like, it's obvious in the trailers, and I've kept up on the film, is that there's going to be a flashback to the original movie, like that original night, and I just hope it looks good. Like, I hope like I just hope like it's filmed well, and it looks like a John Carpenter movie. Honestly, I hope John Carpenter directed those scenes, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, because if those are disappointing, it would definitely be a pretty sour taste for me. But like, I think if done right, it could be really good. So, yeah. I will say I really like the concept of they kind of like have most of the town turning on Michael, and
it's
I think
mob.
looking at like the history of Haddonfield that they've set up,
it's a mob movie.
The history of Haddonfield they've set up, I kind of like that.
And then, like, it makes sense, like, when you set it up like that, because, like, when they first were announcing, like, all these original characters coming back, I was like, is this just going to be, like, a bloated, like, a Force Awakens type of Halloween nostalgia film? But, like, it seems like it actually has story sense, and, like, I'm really glad about that.
Right, yeah.
And it's weird, because, like, they were going to have Tommy Doyle's in this movie, and, like, he's portrayed by, like, a completely different actor, but they were actually going to get Paul Rudd back, and, like, he was going to be in it. But I think it was like had like a scheduling conflict, which this would be like a really weird movie if like Paul Rudd was like a star in it. But
yeah, that'd be really odd.
Like I wouldn't be against it, but like it's just kind of like weird if they did that, because I already didn't really like him as the character because he didn't work. But yeah, he was funny to watch. Like I watched the movie because it's funny, because he's funny in the movie, but I don't watch the movie a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
And the biggest thing that I'm liking is that this movie is calling back a lot to the original film, and like it does have a lot of references, but you can generally tell like they're going to continue the story from the last movie, like even bringing back like small characters from that movie and like giving them bigger roles, and like it's generally good to see that like there's actually like a plan, and like it's gonna like honestly like improve 2018, and like they're gonna work together really well, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, it looks like an actual like a truly good expansion, and actually like grow an arc from that original film that fans have been wanting for a long time, because every arc that they've drawn out from the original 1978 film, they pretty much all failed at least at some point. So this one is looking like it's going to be the best of them all, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, this movie doesn't look like it's going to disappoint me at all. I know like they did test screenings like last year, and they were really positive, and I know like critic reviews right now aren't like extremely favorable, but it is a slasher movie, so I wasn't ever expecting that, to be honest. But I think this is going to be like a movie that everybody's going to love, and there's going to be not everybody's going to be a fan of it, but yeah, this definitely feels like a movie this really feels like it's for the fans, and it's going to be like, but it's also going to be like story driven and not just a bunch of like nostalgia for nostalgia.
Yeah, it looks to be shaping up that way.
It's really good to see like the filmmakers behind this movie. I can just like tell and how they filmed not just the last movie, but even this movie. I can really tell like it's palpable in like the film itself, their love for the original and what it like represented and what it is. And like I love that like you can see that in the finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I pretty much agree on all fronts. And shaping up to be like the shape Michael Myers the shape. Yeah. Anyway, I'm very excited. This final trailer got me even more hyped. So I'm super stoked to see this film, especially see it with you, and then also just talk about it afterward. That'll be amazing.
Yeah, and I really like how it's like starting like right from the last movie, and like you can tell that there's gonna be some really great, like that firefighter scene is gonna be amazing. I can already tell. I'm gonna love every second of it.
Oh, for sure.
And that's how you like do like a. That's how you do just like a slasher scene, but also keep it scary. Unlike *Malignant*, I feel like it's gonna be like genuinely like, it's going to show you like why Michael Myers should be feared, and I'm gonna love that.
Yeah, that's how it seems to be as of now, and obviously we'll have to wait for the film itself to actually see. But everything that it's set up to this point, it looks like it's gonna deliver.
Also, that the scene in that trailer with like the kids and like he's trying to play hide and seek was like pretty creepy, and then that car scene is gonna be great. It's gonna be so good. It looks so good.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I love how like he's using the Halloween 3 mask in like a kill sequence. Like I never thought that would ever happen, and like it's kind of cool.
Right, I think that's really cool because I'm a huge Halloween 3 fan. I don't think it's a very good film, but I'm a huge fan of it, and it's really cool to see like so much of like a callback to it. And it's funny because this is the third of this arc, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious on what ends is gonna be because like I have no idea. The only thing that's been told is that it's gonna be like more like laid back and feel more like an epilogue type film than this film. This is gonna be like the balls to the wall one, and that one's gonna be more of like it's more focused movie, which is exactly what I want, to be honest. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think it's all very exciting, honestly, especially the huge Michael Myers fan. So.
Yeah, I mean, and they show some flashback scenes that are interesting because like they clearly show like 6-year-old Michael Myers in like a flash, which I don't know how that's gonna be incorporated in the film. But yeah, that's interesting. But do you have any like theories on what you think what's gonna happen in this film or the night ends?
Not really, honestly. For this, I've kind of just been, it's been mostly just excitement and getting ready for it. I haven't really put together too many thoughts on how I think it's actually all going to go.
I honestly like have a few that I think are going to happen, but I don't know for sure. But
yeah.
I feel like the movie's going to end. I think it's going to be Michael Myers is going to win the movie.
Yeah.
And then the next one's going to be like a few years later or something. But I feel like they're going to kill one of the Strodes. And that's gonna be like the ending.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting that.
Yeah, and I feel like it'll probably be the mom, Karen. I think that would make the most sense.
Right.
But that's just me, and I feel like we'll have a great like scene at the end, and like with that score, I feel like the score is already gonna be amazing.
Yes, John Carpenter delivering as always on the score. So.
Yeah, and the fact that we're gonna get a whole other movie too is very exciting. All the scores are amazing for these movies.
It's a lot of hype for the end of the year for films, so I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, and then for ends, I have like one crazy plot prediction that I kind of want to like lay down in case like this ends up to be right. But I feel like in that film, they're gonna like introduce Loomis's like son. Because I feel like
Oh, really?
I feel like they're gonna do that because like they're gonna need like some new character, and I feel like that would make the most sense if like we saw Loomis in some way with like his child, because they never really bring that up like if he had a family, and I feel like that'd be a cool thing to see, and like his interactions with Michael would be pretty cool, and seeing him bounce off like Laurie and like the other characters would also be very cool because it feels like most of the town's gonna be murdered in this movie, to be honest. So that'd be like kind of interesting like new character to add to the mix, and I feel like they're gonna do something like that. That's just like my thoughts, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of that theory. I definitely would be. I'd be pretty satisfied if that took place.
Because like Loomis
honestly,
is,
I'm just excited what they're gonna do. So.
Yeah, it's very sad that like Loomis isn't in these movies at all because like of course he wouldn't be in these movies. So the most if they can like bring him in any way, that would be like amazing, and because he really is a big part of why that original film worked, and yeah. Especially in those like terrible sequels, like he always brought really great acting and character work in his movies.
He always had acting in the role, no matter how bad the movie was. He brought a lot to the role, and he's definitely greatly missed.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited. Also, the mask like looks really good. Like burnt. I don't know. I didn't know how it would look, but like I'm digging it so far.
It looks potentially very good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see like once we actually watch it like in a full film. But yeah, I'm very excited for this.
Yeah.
I don't need to see any more footage either. I'll just wait for the film because it's like literally 3 weeks. So just let it breathe.
I know. I can't believe it's so close now. I remember when it was like months ago, and like it's awesome.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out last year, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's really weird. Really weird to think about.
But yeah, it's also streaming same day, which is annoying. But yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited to see where this is gonna go.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much it that I have. Do you have any other closing thoughts about the trailer?
I don't really have any. No. I guess all I have to say now is just thank you for listening to AmityCast, and if you enjoy it, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. Also, hit the bell.
Yeah, that's very true. All 14 of you.
Yeah.
I think we're at
We've got
14.
an audience for sure.
Yeah, if we hit 20 by the end of the week, I will punch a baby. I will punch a baby.
She won't do that. She'll actually go down and help babies at an orphanage.
Yeah, man.
She won't punch a baby. Why'd you say you were gonna punch a baby?
I don't know. Gotta get clicks. Honestly, though. But yeah, you guys take care. Have a great night or day or wherever you're at. I don't really care where you live. Just give me your money. But yeah, you guys have a great life ahead of you.
Have a great rest of your day, and if it isn't going that well, I hope you have a better tomorrow.
That is very true. Very true. But yeah, I'll see you guys.